Hey tribe, it's Krishna here on Whack, and on today's episode I'm going to be exploring what was happening around the rest of the world when big historical events were taking place right here in India. You know that I love it when you reach out to me on my social media. There's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course my PO box if you want to send me any letters. Looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Lord Krishna was born 200 years before even the first dynasty of Egypt and 2,200 years before the first alphabet was ever invented. At the time of the year of his birth, the Sahara was actually changing from a habitable region into the barren desert as we know it now. 25th century BCE and the Indus Valley civilization has reached its peak. The cities of Harappa, mohenjo-daro, and so many more were becoming these big metropolises, and all these other little cities were developing. At the same time, in Egypt, the pyramids of Giza, they had just about finished their construction, and the Stonehenge had just begun its construction. 7th century AD in India, Brahmagupta, the father of algebra, was at that point discovering zero and telling the rest of the world that the moon is closer than the sun and illuminated by it. At the same time, Prophet Muhammad was just about discovering Islam, and the Yamato dynasty in Japan, which still exists even today, had just about come into power. In the 17th century, during Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's lifetime here in India, simultaneously in Europe, a scientific revolution was taking place where all these various objects were being invented and discovered. While the rest of the world was being introduced to champagne by Dom Perignon and Isaac Newton had invented the telescope, back home, the East India Company had bought Bombay City for a princely sum of £10 a year. The Oxford College, its roots are in the 12th century, which means that it's even older than the Delhi Sultanate. In 1947, when India got its independence, the first ever prototype cell phone was invented. In 1977, when India's emergency was coming to an end, France was still using the guillotine to kill people. 1983 and India wins its first World Cup. At the same time, the rest of the world gets introduced to the internet, and 10 years before that, the first mobile cellular call was made. In 1987, when the last Sati case ever was reported, the first ever Simpsons Shorts episode released, 3 Men and a Baby came out in cinemas, and Walk Like an Egyptian was on top of the charts. At the turn of the millennium, India sees the birth of its billionth citizen. Russia elects Vladimir Putin as its president, and February 29th gets celebrated as a rare century leap year, where the next one will only occur in 2400. This is the kind of episode that you do want to share with everyone that you know. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you can use all your social media handles, but don't forget to tag me on my social media handles if you do land up sharing this video. I'll look forward to meeting you guys again with my next Whack episode. Till then, subscribe and help increase the tribe. Ciao. If you like this episode of Wacky Crazy Facts, then you can find more of them here and here.